Hi, my name is Tyvis Powell, former Ohio State Buckeye and national champion DB. Welcome to the Buckeye Cast. These guys was born and bred in the Buckeye State, and they like to talk Buckeye football and drink bourbon. Subscribe to the show. Now pour up a drink and pull up a stool. Here's your host, Joe Warwick. Get him, Joe.
All right, Tyvis, we appreciate you, as always. Getting the show started. We got Jeff in here already. See what happens with Shawn. Who knows? Anyway, you know what we're doing tonight. We're previewing the Bucks versus Ducks. And we're going to get into everything. We're going to talk stats. We're going to talk about the first matchup. It's not very often you get a rematch in the same season in college football with an opponent. You know, it's a conference game. It's a league game, Smokey. Jeff, you know that.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah, little rematch. It's nice to get be able to get your vengeance. Same calendar year. Same season. So yeah, Buckeyes should be looking to take advantage of it.
Yeah, exactly. So, oh well. Guess Instagram isn't working tonight. Sorry, folks. I have to pull the plug on that one. Anyway, we are on Twitter and the YouTube, of course. But, I would say just from first blush, Oregon can have that first victory. You can have a mid-October win. This one is worth a lot more, right?
Yeah, you definitely want to. I mean, if it's hard to beat the same team twice in a year. The NFL division opponents, a lot of times, most of the time, they'll split. If it's even teams, you much would rather win the last one than the first one. But the team that lost the first one, they still got to go out and do it. So I mean, we still can't just play on the fact of it's going to be easier this time, and now we're going to have to play a much better game this time, much better game.
So the prevailing theory is, when it comes to rematches, same season, usually the better talented team wins out. Do you agree with that, or do you think it's more about coaching and scheme?
Well, I mean, typically, yeah, the better team's going to win. I mean, but like in this case, we're just splitting. So I mean, there's only 2 games, not 3. So it's not like the better team's going to win the majority. There's not going to be a majority. Now, I strictly pretty much have just looking on these teams on a team by team basis. Ohio State coming off of their best, the best they've looked, I think, all season as far as against a quality opponent. You know what I mean? They came out really strong against Western Michigan, but doesn't really matter.
Right.
You know, they came out as best as they've looked against an opponent like Tennessee. So they have confidence. They should have confidence, but they have to. It's a like I said, it's a game by game, team by team basis. We know what we did, how many mistakes we made against Oregon. Those have to be corrected. A lot, then there was a lot of them, and it was a close game, but there was a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, definitely. Looking back, I went back and watched the game 2 or 3 times over this weekend. I also watched the Penn State game, which is Oregon's most recent thing. So I do have a question for you. What do you think about rest versus rust? Because if you think about it, it'll be 3.5, almost 4 weeks between Oregon's last game and this upcoming Rose Bowl game. So for the Buckeyes, it's just 10 days.
Yeah.
What do you think? Is it good to get healthy over a 3-week span? Like maybe if you got lingering little injuries, bumps and bruises and whatnot. But is that better? But you're not playing. You're only practicing versus playing a real game against a real opponent like Ohio State did. Maybe Ohio State is getting that snowball rolling downhill by beating an SEC Tennessee team. What do you think?
I mean, it can go both ways, honestly. It's all on how it depends on what the shape your team was in going into that last victory. I mean, does Oregon have a lot of if they were to have a lot of key players, that were nagging injuries or just are just starting to come back, not 100% healthy, and they find a
Maybe
way
they
to
got
get
beat
past
up
Penn
in that
State,
game.
or they got beat up in that game. It would serve them well to get the rest. I'd like to think it being the 13th game. I don't want any Ohio State players, coaching staff, or even fans thinking, "Oh, they're going to be rusty." They might be, but that's nothing that goes into like the team's prep and how the coaches are running their, how Lanning has kept his coaching staff and his players engaged and focused. If they've fallen off, and none of us will know that until we kind of see the results of the game.
Sure.
It can go both ways. I think I think it has suited them. I would lean on the side it suited them to rest, get healthy. Since they played that extra game, and that was a physical game with Penn State. You know what I mean?
They
So
got run over on defense.
let's see. They're going back to the drawing board, getting time to kind of dissect what we did against Tennessee as well.
Yeah.
I would expect them to be. I would expect this rest to benefit them. I think we need to be preparing as if so.
Okay. Yeah. Either way, for both teams, this is the hardest road in the playoff bracket, right? I mean, there's no two
By
ways
far.
about it. Let me
By
throw it
far.
back up here quickly so everybody can see again. I mean, seriously, you got Texas or Arizona State, Penn State, Boise State, Notre Dame, Georgia. That's definitely a tough game. But spoiler alert, I took Notre Dame in that one. I think Georgia with a backup quarterback is a huge liability. So just wanted to put the bracket back out there for everybody.
Unproven for sure. Unproven for sure.
Right. Just playing a few minutes in the last game and getting the dub does not mean you're a good quarterback and you're not the answer. Gunnar Stockton. Seriously.
Hey, I tell you what though, Georgia has some quarterbacks with some names though.
Oh, yeah. They're the all-time name team at quarterback. Half of them transfer out, so,
Half of them transferred in.
somewhere else. But yeah, half of them transferred in and out, the old in and out. It's like the Duke quarterback situation. You see that shit?
Yeah.
Malik Murphy transfers
Dion.
out. This Mensa guy from Tulane comes in. $8 million for 2 years in NIL money.
Wow. As advertised. I mean,
The quarterback from Tulane is getting $8 million.
Guaranteed to stay. Now, is that contract? Is that state that he needs to stay for 2 years? Because what if he has?
Yeah, if he went pro after next year, he doesn't get the full $8. So, still $4 million a year. Goddamn. You just left Tulane. This is
to go to
nuts.
Duke.
It's
To go
nuts.
to
Mediocre quarterbacks, $4 million a year.
I can't believe that that's even put out there as like the colleges obviously don't have to cite their NILs or they don't have to claim them. So I'm surprised. Typically you don't see. Yeah, we paid this for this guy. So what?
Somebody did. I don't know.
To go from Tulane, man. If I'm at Tulane and somebody says $4 million this year, $4 million next year, yeah, I'm probably going. I don't give a fuck if it's Duke or not. I mean, you're not going to compete, but you weren't going to compete at Tulane either. So
that's he probably was not going to play in the NFL. Maybe
probably
be an undrafted free agent. So this is life-changing money. He does not have a crack at NFL money.
No. So you got to take it, right? So you look, I'm college football is I'm gonna make something of just my college football career. I got this degree. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I'll probably sell insurance, be a car, dealer or something. Whatever. I don't want to speak on the kid. I don't know anything about him.
He could live off that $8 million interest for the rest of his life and live comfortably. Not nice, not extravagantly and stuff, but you could live nicely off that interest.
Probably nicer than I'm doing. You know what I mean? Couple million a year. I mean, shit. Yeah, you can put that away. You can play if you play right.
$8 starter pack is good, right?
Mm.
Yeah, it helps out. All right, so I was just checking out the odds to win the CFP championship, and this has changed since last week. I don't know why, but whatever. Texas plus 300. They're the favorite. Ohio State
Really?
though
Really?
plus 325, right behind them, right on their heels. Oregon, a little bit of a drop down here, plus 450. Penn State plus 500. Georgia 500. Notre Dame 550. That's your top
Wow.
6.
Penn State better odds than Notre Dame. That catches my eye. Texas jumping ahead of us and Oregon. That catches my eye.
Yeah, it has to be about the bracket, right?
Yeah, sure. I mean, Arizona State, right? Texas looking at Arizona State,
Notre Dame's got the
sliding
toughest
into the
job.
semis.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Oregon and Ohio State being neck and neck there makes sense because whoever moves on, nobody's saying it in the national media, but this is an ipso facto national championship, right? Don't you think?
Some people are making rumblings of that because I mean we have better odds and we're favored. And they're
nobody else looks like a world beater out of the rest of those 6 teams. Right?
except Texas.
Kinda, if Quinn Ewers is right.
Is he? Yeah, right. I mean, Texas can move the ball. I see Texas starting, going through stretches of games where they can throw the ball to any spot on the turf, anywhere it's green, and they can get a guy open anywhere. But then there's just stretches of time, lengths of time, where it's 3 and out, it's a turnover, it's a bad decision by Quinn Ewers, it's we're not running the good ball this drive, 3 stuff,
Or
punt,
sack, back-to-back sacks. He's not mobile.
Yes. I'll be interested to see what Arizona State can possibly throw at them. Just to see if they can cause them any type of a lot of the good defenses this year have caused Texas to go through stretches of just ineptness. So can Arizona State be a speed bump in that? I don't know.
Right.
Can't think so. I see why they're getting either us or Oregon, the next 2 people with the best odds to win the title if they win this game. So I'm not sure where the math is of them having the best odds because they're playing this game and then they're playing the 2 teams that have just as good as odds almost. So.
Yeah, I think it's just the path for them.
Yeah.
Has to be.
Well, that path includes either us or Oregon, and I wouldn't want that path.
That's true. So, yeah. All right. So I don't know if Shawn's going to show up or not. He is the king of miscommunication. So I do want to show everybody the Rose Bowl helmets for the Buckeyes. Check this shit out. Pay attention to the red stripe. They're bringing it back. I love the roses on the red stripe in the middle of the helmet. That's awesome.
That's a touch.
Yeah, love it. It's a good look. What else here? Let's see. I guess we can get into the break. We can start getting into the breakdown. We'll see if Shawn shows up. If not, Jeremiah Smith presser. Did anybody see his press conference the other day? Very illuminating. Love his forthcomingness. Is that a word?
Sure it is.
If
Save
you
the
guys can
confidence.
hear that, hopefully you guys can hear this. I got the audio
just starting
cranked.
with the weeks we had off in practice, and just telling Coach Hartline when we challenged these weeks that we've been off. When I went up to him before we had the senior tackle, I put him aside like, Coach, I want you to challenge me this week. Like, I told him that, and you could ask him himself, like, I want to be challenged. That's what I want. And he did that last week, and that's why I had the game that I had. And yeah.
So he said that he pulled let's see, it would have been the Sunday when they did senior tackle. He said he pulled Coach Hartline aside and said he wants to be challenged. He wants Coach Hartline to challenge him going into that Tennessee game, and we saw that show up on the field. So that's heady stuff for a 19-year-old kid in his freshman season, right?
He is clearing every mark of being an inexperienced freshman. He has cleared every mark at every step. This kid, yeah, he's different. He is different. He's a different kind of kid that not to mention the position, but just in general to get this kind of kid on your campus. They come along a couple times a decade, maybe. As far as he's going to the pros. He's filtering through you right now. You need to make sure you can put every little sprinkle of knowledge, expertise, suggestions, everything you can give to him. Just give it to him as he's going through. He's going straight to the pros. You gotta just put him in the best spot so you can reap the biggest benefits of him. Kid's phenomenal. When in doubt, throw it to 4. Put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's pretty crazy what he's doing, and to continually ask for more. At some point you thought he would hit that freshman wall, but no, he's asking for more. He came back from that twisted ankle with no ill effects. Shout out that dirtbag linebacker from Northwestern. It's going to take more than that to take JJ off the field. So yeah, this guy's he's going to turn out to be one of one. One of those guys that you're not going to be able to replicate, in any receiver room or recruiting class or whatever.
Yeah, I mean there might be another one come along, but I mean we don't have one like him currently. And I can't remember. Just the I'd say like a Jadeveon Clowney when he went in South Carolina would be like a somewhat of a comparison. You know what I mean? Like you don't get in his way. Don't fuck him up. Just give him every piece of knowledge you can. He's gonna be gone in 3 years. Just try to put him in a position that you can get the biggest benefit out of him because he's gonna get his benefits. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's just like that kid is like that. That can't miss. You knew it from the time he signed with you.
Yeah.
He can't go to the pros now because it's the rules. He's got to stay 3 years. Just keep him with you, enjoy it, and then wish him luck and show up with a tie on when he gets drafted in the first round so he can give you a hug. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, love to see it. And he had a lot to say about that OPI against Oregon in the first game. So, he does not like the thought of not being physical as a receiver. That is his worst case scenario. So, all right, let's get into it. Let's go 5 p.m. Eastern on ESPN, the 4-letter network, on Wednesday, folks. Wednesday. Today's Sunday.
Middle of the week.
Games Wednesday. Number 8, Ohio State, 11-2 against Oregon, 13-0, undefeated in your quarterfinal. Keeping an eye out here for Shawn.
One thing I wanted to. Oh, sorry, Joe.
Yeah.
One thing real quick I wanted to go over. We talked about Oregon sitting for a long enough wait after their 13th game. How are we looking health-wise after our 13th game?
We'll get to injuries and stuff like that.
Okay.
Let's talk about this undefeated Oregon team. Dan Lanning, the head coach, your Big Ten champions. So I really on offense. Let's break into them right now. Your players to watch, obviously the quarterback, Dylan Gabriel. We know these guys pretty well from the first game. It was just like 8 weeks ago, maybe 6, something I don't know. Anyway, so you got Gabriel, then you got the running back Jordan James, then you got Tez Johnson, the wide receiver, Evan Stewart, the other wide receiver, transfer from Texas A&M, and the tight end Terrence Ferguson. So these guys are loaded with weapons. This offense, in my opinion, just in the number of weapons, compares very much to Ohio State's offense, in my opinion, just because they have so many receivers that can make plays, have made. What do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4 guys with over 500 yards receiving for Oregon, including the tight end Ferguson. The Buckeyes have just 3 over 500 yards, and those are all the starting receivers.
Yeah.
So they can move it around. Everybody for Oregon can make plays, but Gabriel is the key to the entire operation. I was looking at his stats earlier, and the one thing that really stands out to me and is very interesting is how short he throws the ball. His average depth of target on the season is 6.9 yards. So this is kind of crazy, in my opinion. And most of his completions are from behind the line of scrimmage to less than 10 yards.
Yeah.
So he does all of his work inside of 10 yards. That's why the Buckeyes last time the corners played at the sticks, right? Played 7 to 10 yards off, but they were not anticipating the double moves, especially by what's his name?
Stewart.
Tez
Stewart
Johnson.
and Tez, yeah.
So that was the big issue. But still, looking at what Dillon Gabriel does, he's only been blitzed 35% of the time this entire season. And he does, when blitzed, he completes 70% of his passes. So the guy's deadly accurate. When he's under pressure, whether it's by blitz or just with 4, that's where you get him. This is where the Buckeyes need to take advantage. When he's under pressure, which is 26% of the time, he has a 52% completion percentage. So he does not do huge damage there. He has his least amount of yards there, so his lowest completion percentage when he's under pressure. So that's where this D-line for the Buckeyes has to get home, right?
Yes. A lot of his completion percentage in general is because of so many short passes. Get the ball to your playmakers, get them in space, let them run with the ball, which is kind of like what we need to do, how we should look at our offense as well. You got a lot of guys that are good with the ball in their hand. Get it out to them quick. Now, the blitzing and the pressure, I think you have to keep him under pressure. He's going to be looking to go short anyways. So he's not going to have. You can take away that deep ball somewhat, aside from those 9 routes and in zero coverage, but you can. I think you have to bring pressure on him. You have to get him moving, but secured in the pocket. You know what I mean? Not just racing upfield, letting them step up and run up, in these open alleys for 5, 8, 10 yards at a time. But you got to be able to. You got to get pressure off the middle, containing on the edges, and force his hand. So it's going to be a lot of. I know we're going to be watching for the double moves, and obviously Denzel Burke's going to have to not just get caught looking in the background or looking in the backfield. But yes, bringing pressure to him for sure. I think is the answer, because if we sit back in zone and like a 2-3 deep zone, he's going to complete 78% of his passes, and there's going to time the possession on us.
Right. Yeah. So, looking at how they fared against the Buckeyes in the first game, let me pull up the grades here, because we did well. I mean, getting pressure. Let's see. We got Total pressures, 19 pressures on Gabriel the first time around. JT had 7 himself. Now the problem is we didn't get any sacks. We got 6 hits, a few hurries, maybe one batted down ball, but still, you gotta affect the quarterback, right? And the other thing is you can't allow scrambles, right? You can't let him get outside and get loose. You gotta rush the quarterback, but maintain your lanes so that you're not just blowing by him like some kind of maniac, right? And you just open up these lanes around the guards.
Yeah, you see it too often. You see it too often. The quarterback does he drops back, feels the outside rush, steps up, nothing, and he's got a lane because there's one linebacker within 10 yards from him, and then he runs for 5, slides. You're looking at 2nd and 4 or 3rd and 1 now or something like that. You got to now if that's all if he's deadly in every other facet and that's all you hold him to. But then you take away all his deep passing and all that kind of stuff. Then you can play with that. But it's got to kind of mirror each other as far as not giving up any of those big explosive plays. And keeping him. If you keep everything of his under 20 yards, Oregon's offense is not at its peak, and they can't keep scoring with you.
Right.
How do we do it though? I mean, how they're going to have to do it this game? I've got definitely have to stop the run. And make him stay with the quick passing game. I think that might be first and foremost.
Yeah, I think keeping him in the pocket is the key. And again, the coverage and rush working together. Obviously, if you're going to keep him in the pocket, you got to be able to cover on the back end, right? Until somebody up front can get at him. So does that mean that you bring a
pressure.
5th and 6th guy?
Yes, I think it does. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So blitzing a linebacker probably.
Some of the blitzes they dialed up and stuff. Now you're gonna have to come up with some new stuff too. And I think Knowles is just getting into his groove as far as dialing up blitzes and pressure and stuff like that. He knows. I'm sure the whole coaching staff is looking at we have to pressure them more, not just try to react to them. Force them and not react to them. So I think there's going to be a lot of that, just defensive wide and just in coverages and pressure, pretty much everything.
Right. Yeah. We've seen Gabriel do damage on his feet. He had 4 scrambles against us, 4 runs, I should say, not scrambles. Only 2 of those were scrambles. The big damage was that
the touchdown
option play, the 26-yarder or whatever it was, 27, I guess. But he did the same thing against Penn State. They just bottled him up better. He actually had 7 rushing attempts, and only 2 of those were scrambles. But that was only for 16 yards. So they were able to keep him, from breaking one. Like he did against us. So that's the key right there. And this guy is not 6 foot, regardless of what the PFF or the Ducks roster says. He's like 5'10". That's why I say keep this guy behind a wall of O linemen and D linemen. Make him throw over the top of that.
Yeah. Which a lot of that means too, like center, middle of the field, down the hashes. When you're throwing out wide, it's either like that sprint out motion where you're running, you're rolling out on the snap, and then you're hitting your targets on the outside, which is what clears his view, of the defense. Yes, if you can play your guys tight, almost like a cover 2. You want to have some contact with those receivers off the line, but have those guys sitting, and having some coverage over the top as well. That kind of prevent those RPOs, those throws out to the edge and stuff like that, where you already got guys sitting at 5-6 yards that can come up and make plays.
Right.
But also bringing pressure to him. You just as you're spreading too many guys out though to take away or matching up with the guy they have in space, you can't leave those center, those AB gaps up the middle. You can't have Cody Simon just flying out to the flat or something like that. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to have him on, especially those RPOs. Protecting that run, but also playing tight on the outside. So they definitely pose they're with the talent they have with the offense they run, they seem to do a good job at putting their players in the best position to be successful. We showed it in the Tennessee game. Getting Trey come out of the backfield, catching the ball down the field. JJ just on crossing routes where nobody can, if it's man to man, nobody can run with him, and he's so deadly after the catch. I mean, that's the kind of stuff they're good at it. We need to be just as good at it, and just sound defense. We got a lot of different looks, a lot of that kind of stuff, But it probably honestly though, it probably all starts with just protecting the run and limiting them from getting big chunks on the ground, which opens up the rest of their playbook. So keeping them third and long, that kind of stuff. Where he's not 3rd and 8, he's not going to be looking to scramble, or just have some open alley. Make him push the ball down the field. Then I think that's where we have him. If we make him challenge us down the field, I think that's where we have him. Where our better example is.
Yeah.
Our better chances.
Yeah, in the first game, the two offenses really put up similar numbers, almost identical. Buckeyes put up 467 total. Oregon put up 496. Rushing, Oregon put up 158. We put up 163. Passing, very similar. What do we have? 326 for the Buckeyes, 341 for Oregon. So both of these offenses got off, and the defenses didn't really dominate anything. The yards per play are very similar, rushing and passing. So, and in the fourth quarter, we couldn't get a stop when we needed to. So, in the pass game, it depends. Do you want to bracket Tez Johnson? Do you want to bracket Evan Stewart as well? Because that's going to make the running game that's going to really challenge you with Jordan James and Whittington. Those two guys did pretty well. They went up for like 160 combined against Penn State just a few weeks ago. So definitely a headache from this Oregon offense. They do have on the O-line starting right guard Marcus Harper. He returned in the Big Ten championship game. He missed the last 3 games of the regular season with injury, but he expects to be fully healthy for the Rose Bowl. But these guys did not, as a group, play well against Penn State in their last time out. So that's one of the things I would be concerned about is how maybe this team, they played like 8 games in a row without a bye prior, going into that Penn State game. So maybe that's part of it, right?
Sure.
No time off, dealing with some injuries, but looking at their let me check their O-line blocking grades here against Penn State. The run blocking was mediocre. All of them were like 64, 52 from the left tackle, a 70 from the right tackle, a 59 from the right guard. They played 2 right guards in that game. So, another 53 there from the guard position. So, not a great game. And I would say Penn State's D-line is not as good as Ohio State's. Would you agree?
Yes, I would think we have more talent. Yes, but those PFF grades, they sound a lot like most of the teams were. Just about every team has average. It seems like every team has close to average line play.
Right.
Not just us, not just a lot of teams we play every night or play each week, but those grades aren't any good, but they sound about like our grades on some games.
Right. But that's
So-
their starting line. We're on our 20th version of our starting offensive line. Right?
Well, that's true. I mean, yes. I mean, Oregon has had some injuries. Like you said, some guys have just come back. Some guys that
Yeah.
weren't playing earlier in the year, that are playing now. So,
Yeah. Right. We got Shawn added into the show. What's up, Henry?
What's going on, guys? Sorry I'm late.
hey,
A little tough here on the holidays. Just had to
Yeah.
run a compatriot home.
Oh. All right. We were just digging into this pregame. We touched on Dylan Gabriel and the weapons on the offense. Obviously, Tez Johnson, Jordan James, all those guys, Evan Stewart, Terrence Ferguson, whatnot. And injuries. It looks like their O-line is going to be back to health the way it looks. So for you, Shawn, you want to touch on anything regarding Dylan Gabriel? I mean, I was focused on his average depth of target is only 6.9 yards per pass. So he does all of his damage either behind the line of scrimmage or from 0 to 10 yards downfield.
Yeah, but with those receivers they got, I mean, I feel like I don't have the stats in front of me, which I usually do. Those
I got 'em for you.
receivers, I go to Scarface, they carve you up real nice. I mean,
I
you
don't
know,
like that.
those boys. I feel like we were doing a good job against them mostly, and then they'd hit those couple of speed guys, and we were out of position a little bit, and you just can't be with those guys. There's too much speed. That to me is the concern point. But I feel like I wish we would do a little bit more of that with some of our guys. Frankly, is throw them shorter routes, high, and I think we do when we need first downs. You know, those are the crossing routes and the Mecca
Like the
stuff.
Tennessee
and,
game.
You know, and we do that, but heck, I'd like to see more of it. It's a modified running game.
I was watching the Penn State game, the Big Ten championship today, again between Oregon and Penn State, and their receivers are just running 15 and 20 yards through the middle of the field with nobody around them in a white jersey. It was scary. Like at least we didn't have that. I know Denzel got cooked a couple times and stuff like that, but dude, these receivers were just roaming free across the middle of the field, doing little crossing routes. I'm talking 20 yards downfield, just wide ass open for Gabriel to dot him up. I was like, holy shit, how do you do that?
I always wonder how teams do that, and I wonder why my team can't do more of that.
Yeah. Tez Johnson had like 180 in that game. Fuck.
I mean,
Yeah.
I wonder what we're going to try and run as a defense against these guys. You're going to try and man up. You going zone here? What do you think we're going to do?
Well, Jeff was speculating. Obviously you got to bring pressure. Like Jeff's talking about bringing 5 or 6, right, Jeff?
yes, sir.
And not letting Gabriel sit back there, and get comfy, and find his throwing lanes. He's a little guy. He's only like 5'10", so he's got to find throwing lanes between those big trees in front of him. So, my thought was, as a D line, you got to rush, but you can't just go blowing past him and open up lanes, around those between the guards and tackles where you've already vacated as a D end, So you got to kind of keep some integrity, keep him enclosed. And if you're bringing a 5th or 6th guy, that guy has to get home on Gabriel, right? Because he's a
100%.
slippery little prick.
100%, and your coverage needs to be there. I mean, this is a good football team that little mistakes can cost you big time.
Exactly. Right. Yep. Yeah. What else? So yeah, looking at the Oregon defense here, these guys, they had a decent day against Penn State. Penn State still lit them up for almost 40 points. Their let me pull up their defense. Their run defense got torched in this game by Katron Allen and Singleton a little bit, mostly Katron. That dude had a huge monster game, both in the rushing attack and, which we talked about against some other teams on this Buckeye schedule, those swing passes, those screen passes to the running backs, really getting those defensive linemen moving side to side, right? Katron Allen and Nick Singleton, they took advantage of that. So looking at the run defense grades here for Oregon versus Penn State, nobody graded out over 60, except for a corner. A corner did. D lineman, no. Harmon, no. 54.8. Caldwell, the nose tackle, 58.8. Betcher the Butcher, the middle linebacker, the white boy, number 29, I believe his number is, 28, 29, 54. Birch, the D lineman, just back from injury a few weeks ago, a 58. So these guys, they got some pressures. They got 16 pressures on Drew Aller, but just one sack. And these guys are, these DNs, I wanted to point this out because I think this is important. These guys are big dudes. These are not edge rushers that are, 230, 240, that are screaming off the edge with speed. These guys are big. I'm talking, what's his name? Birch is like fucking 295 as an edge rusher. Same with Mateo Uyunglele. He's like, 260, 270? So these guys are not speed rushers coming off the edge, which I think helps our tackles, right? You're not getting blown by, like an Abdul Carter or somebody like that. You got time to get in front of a dude and at least slow him down, be a speed bump or something, right?
Sure.
You feel me, dog?
Yeah, but it's how can Jackson and Fryer, how can they deal with the mass too? I mean, yes, at 295, both these guys, those guys are still smaller than both of them. So can you dominate them in the run game and in the pass blocking? Now, Birch is an NFL guy, so I mean he has some skill to go with that 295. So there's probably got a lot of real good techniques with his bull rush and that kind of stuff. So I'm true. So they're gonna have our tackles gonna have their hands full. Maybe not having to deal with so much of the speed rush to the edge, but a wider array of other techniques and stuff that they're going to deal with, plus that strength. Now we're going to need to build a run.
I think it sets up good for our team, basically because our tackles were both guards, and so they're used to dealing with these big, heavy loads that don't have the speed and the moves necessarily. They're usually going to get beat by strength in the middle. It's usually not some great moves from D tackles that they're used to facing. So I feel like that's an inherent advantage to us. But like Jeff said, this dude's NFL quality. I mean, he's going to get his too. He's going to eat. I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Going back to the Buckeye game against Oregon back in October, Mateo had 4 pressures. The other, they call him an outside linebacker in that scheme, but number 44, Tuioti, he had 4 pressures. He doesn't play every snap, though. Mateo plays more than, well, they kind of play the same. Anyway, Harmon had 3. They actually do more damage with pressures up the middle, in my opinion, with Harmon and Caldwell. Again, they did not have a sack against the Buckeyes when we played them. So, would they have 1 hit on the quarterback? That's it. So, yeah, and these guys will miss some tackles. That's a point of emphasis when I do the game grades and stuff. Harmon, the D tackle, had 3 missed tackles against us, and as a team they had 12. Once you get over close to double digits, that's not good for you, man. That a lot of times will spell defeat for a defense anyway, but it didn't for them. So yeah, the guys I'm watching, Mateo, Birch, obviously, Harmon, everybody up front. Now the slot corner, this Brandon Johnson guy, and then their safeties. So I want to point out something on their corners and their safeties, especially the corners. These guys are all 5'10", all right? What's Jeremiah Smith? 6'3". Carnell Tate, 6'2". Emeka, 6'1". These guys do not want the physicality. I don't think they can take it. So my point is, if you take maybe that Tennessee game plan where you start the game by swinging it out to Emeka, Jeremiah, on these little crossing routes, maybe running through the backfield, hitting Jeremiah on a quick little swing pass, they can do the most damage in yards after catch. I guarantee you Jeremiah can run through a 5'10", 185 corner. Guarantee it. The best that guy can do is throw a stick in his spokes.
Yeah, the problem is when you run through him too much and you get a late game offensive PI that basically submarines you from a win. I mean,
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never seen that, Shawn. Do you have an example?
Not really. It's just I'm thinking hypotheticals here.
All right.
Spitballing.
All right. Yes, I agree. But at some point, let the players play, right?
Well, not to rehash the whole incident hypothetically.
Go ahead.
If you're gonna be calling that shit, then call it early. Don't be waiting until that moment.
Yeah,
in time.
Exactly. Timing is key, right? Timing is very key. Also, might have been some home cooking.
I couldn't believe that stat you had and you sent. That blew my mind more than anything. There's been 2 offensive holdings against the Buckeyes this year total, and it was Marshall and I forget who else you said.
Western.
2 the entire year. That seems
Western
made up to me.
Yes,
Shawn,
exactly.
Oregon has not been flagged for an offensive holding all year as a team. Their offensive line has not been flagged for a holding. What's worse?
Well, what's their scheme?
Who's officiating this game? What crew?
ACC, baby, the ones we just had, same conference. Different crew from the Tennessee game, so brace yourselves.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
But anywho, yes, there is an advantage there. We're trying to exploit it last time, and it ended up costing us in the end.
Right.
Let's exploit it earlier and more often, and not put it in a position like that again.
Yeah.
But it's clear.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Smith will have his way with those boys.
Right. Even the safeties are 5'10", Shawn. What's his name here? Tysheem Johnson, the strong safety. He's 5'10", 200 pounds. And not a great coverage guy. He had a 46 against Maryland, 57.8 against the Cheaters, which they can barely muster a downfield pass. How do you have a 57.8 against them in coverage? Penn State, he had a 60. So Penn State's probably the most comparable opponent we have recently anyway. So these safeties, the secondary do not want these receivers, man. I'm telling you. It's going to turn out bad for them if you get these Buckeye receivers in the open field with the ball one-on-one with a corner. These guys are getting railroaded. And I'm not going to feel bad about it. So, all right. So we went through the offense, defense here. Let's talk about the keys. Keys to the victory. I'm gonna repeat myself for the last 2 games, going back to the Cheaters game and to the Tennessee game. Number 1 key on offense: use the pass to set up the run. Like we were just talking, That's the way they started out the Tennessee game. Those swing passes to Mecca, swing pass to Travion, Quinshawn, whoever. Get these guys, get their D-line moving out in space. It's not good for them. These, like I said, these are big dudes. They don't like going sideline to sideline. They're not good at it. And Will Howard can do the most damage in these short, like I was just talking with Dylan Gabriel, right? His average depth of target, 6.7. Same with Will Howard. He's at more of a like 7.7 average, 8.7, something like that. Still less than 10 yards. You want him to be precise, accurate, hit the ball, easy targets, so that the receivers can do damage after the catch. And again, Will Howard has to be clean operation on offense. We can't have weird fumbles, INTs, shit like that. You know, you guys got other takes on go offense or defense, if you want to look at it from a game plan point of view.
No, I really don't, Joe. I mean, it's pretty simple. We know what works. Very few teams in this country can play a pass defense that can really slow us down if we're using it right. I mean, if we're using our players right. So I don't think let's find out if Oregon can. Let's not make it easy on Oregon, and just run at their strengths and try to establish something that they don't mind letting us establish. Let's go. Let's force our hand. Let's force what we want to do to them. Let's dictate what we want to do, not take what the defense gives you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We have a good enough talent to just take it to somebody the way we want to.
Yeah, and there are multiple targets in the secondary, man. I'm talking linebackers, corners, Brandon Johnson, the slot corner. This guy against us in the first game, he graded out a 50. We targeted him 11 times with 11 catches, 82 yards and a touch. Also, Kobe Savage, the strong safety, 4 targets, 4 receptions, and a touch. The path is clear here. Nico Reed, he's number 9, one of the corners here. He had 6 targets, 4 catches. Just allowed 26 yards, but the slot is one of the fish, and then obviously Kobe Savage. I think both safeties, Tysheem Johnson, Kobe Savage. Where's the free safety? I didn't see him. Where the fuck's he at? That was Savage. Okay, yeah. Johnson's the strong, Savage is the free. Savage actually played with Will Howard at K-State a few years ago. But there are holes in the secondary. And it's really about, the Buckeye D-line and the pressure on the quarterback. If they can get home, makes coverage a lot easier. And then I think this Buckeye offense can move the ball pretty easily on this Oregon defense. Any thoughts in addition?
No. I agree it's there. This to me is a payback game. We were close out there, real close. Bitterly disappointed in that loss. And I feel like the Buckeyes after that last game, that they got some juice right now. And go out there and play our game. I mean, I know you got a game plan for, what they're good at, but we're good at what we do. You try and stop it.
Right. Exactly. Okay. Before we give our predictions and microscopes, because I didn't do a Friday show, I do have a bunch of bets for the playoff games this week, and I've got a ton of player props for the Buckeye game. So, starting off, I got the Buckeyes by 2.5. Buckeyes are favored by 2.5 right now. I got Bama minus 13.5 over the Cheaters, because of course I'm going to take anybody versus the cheaters. Penn State minus 11 against Boise State. What is that one? Fiesta Bowl, Jeff? Yeah.
Yes.
Fiesta Bowl.
Correct.
Then Texas, I got minus 12.5 in. What the hell is that one? It doesn't say here. Sugar Bowl? Is that Sugar Bowl?
Yes.
No. Georgia is Sugar Bowl.
No.
Georgia Notre Dame.
Georgia. They go Sugar Bowl then Peach Bowl.
Yeah, New Orleans. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So I got Notre Dame. I'm taking Notre Dame in that one.
Orange
Plus
Bowl.
1.5. Sorry, Douchebag says what?
Orange Bowl.
No, there isn't one. No, I'm taking Notre Dame against Georgia plus 1.5. Obviously, Georgia's the favorite, even with a garbage backup quarterback that we've never seen play. Okay, my player props for the Buckeye game. Just got a few of them here, maybe 5. Will Howard over 1.5 passing touchdowns. That seems like a layup, doesn't it?
I like it.
All right, Jeremiah Smith, 1 or more touchdowns. Doesn't have to be receptions.
1 or more? Yeah, I like that.
All right, some
1
yardage.
or more?
How many games did he not score a touchdown in? I mean, that to me, yeah, you got to go with that.
Yeah, well, he had a few with 2 touchdowns, like the Tennessee game. All right, yardage. I got a Mecca over 60.5 receiving.
Yeah. I mean, it could be 180, it could be 70, but yeah.
It's a big game, so I figure Emeka's getting his share of targets.
Yeah, you'll think. I mean, I could see 3 targets for 48 and 2 touchdowns though too. Just with them when they use them in what situation, but yeah, it's a good bet. It's a good bet to go.
Or do they want to double JJ? You know?
Right. It's all on how creative the Chip can free him up. You know, like some of those plays, just freeing which guy you dialing up to get free in space. But yeah, it's a safe bet. Over 60 yards receiving.
And I like the yak yards. That counts. So these last 2 are receptions, number of receptions. Okay, Jeremiah, 6+ receptions, and Emeka, same, 6+ receptions.
I'm pretty sure one of them will have 6+. And very possibly both, but I wouldn't parlay both those together necessarily.
No, I didn't do that. Maniac. Parlays are the devil's tool.
Parlays are the devil's tool.
Yeah, I don't do parlays.
They should, but will they?
Yes, right. I don't think it's a game where you see like 14 catches into 2 catches. I don't see that, because if that were the case, it would be the only way that would be the case. I think is if they just completely take Jeremiah out of the game, and it's a Mecca with 14 catches, because they're just letting them roam free underneath 10 yards. They just let them run free. That would be the only way I'd kind of see that.
But if Tate gets 6 or 7,
yeah, if you're going to do that, then it opens up the running game too. So that's why
Sure.
I completely laid off Quinshon and Trey, because I feel this is a pass-heavy scenario, and I feel very confident, especially we only put up, 150 rushing? 141 last time on 33 attempts. So I think we're going to be a more aggressive throwing the ball, like the Tennessee game. Again, I'm going to go back to that game plan.
Again, like a 28 carries then? You think?
Total? Probably, yeah, but I didn't feel good about the prop bets they had for Trey and Quinshon. You can't really say, that one of them's going to go for 70. I don't know, maybe.
Well, either one of them can break any play for 50, 60, 70. So,
right, or they could get shut down for 50.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So like the rushing yards, Quinshon is at 48 plus, Travion 53 plus. You know.
I kind of like Quinshon going over 48 yards, but
Maybe.
you never know. I mean, by the time we're just running the ball, killing the clock, it might not even be either one of them in the game. If that were the case.
Right. All right. So so that's my action for this coming week. Let's get into our score predictions. Buckeyes favored by 2.5 at the Rose Bowl, so kind of a neutral site, even though it's on the West Coast. I think it's going to be a 50-50 crowd. I think it's not going to be in heavy favor of either one. We know the Buckeyes out west have a strong presence in the LA, California area. But so anyway, Buckeyes by 2.5 and the over-under of 55. So they're looking at kind of a similar, kind of a high-scoring affair. So let's start with you, Jeff. What do you got for your score prediction?
Ooh. I think I might go 30-28 Buckeyes.
Close one, huh? All right. I'm glad you're not relying on the field goal kicker there. Or are you? How'd you get to 30?
No, I don't know how I'm getting 30. I hope the God is not on the foot of fucking our field goal kicker. I forget what the God it is.
Field goals.
Yeah.
I don't know. Now, 10 field goals, I will retire from talking about college football if we kick 10 field goals and win this game.
Score every
I am done.
Field goal.
Because then, can you imagine? Jeff Fielding's fucking, he's 7 for 7, folks. Longest to 58. No, no, that ain't happening.
All right.
I'd say we go hit the over, but we don't cover.
Okay. All right, Shawn, what do you got for your score?
I want to say 38-31.
Buckeyes by 7?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hate giving them the 31. Fuck that. 21.
Ooh, now let's get spicy. 17-point victory.
I want to bring mine down now too, but there ain't no way they're scoring more than 3 touchdowns on us. That D ain't allowing it.
Right. I agree. I'm going 37-27, and that's being generous for Oregon. I think we'd beat them at least by 10. I could see it being more like 37-21, like Shawn's in the ballpark. Again, to his point, this defense has not allowed a passing touchdown since the Oregon game in October, and they actually fixed the defense. So and we've seen it. We've seen it against multiple teams. So, I'm going 37-27, and I'm feeling really good about it, a 2-score victory. All right? So, I'm taking the over, obviously. There, folks, I think we all are, yeah. Yeah, we're all over. All right, let's get into our microscopes. Jeff, let's talk offense. Who do you have on your offense?
I mean, I want to go back to the offensive line because that's going to be the key. Who do you want to pick? Let's pick. I'm going to put Tegro Shabola, right guard. Dude is suspect. He is looking suspect to me. I think we're going to be at a point where we see Sutterfield in Montgomery. I think that's going to be real quick.
A point we didn't really talk about with the Buckeye matchup is the rotation. They're going to stick with the 3-man rotation at the guards. So you're going to see Luke Montgomery at the left. You're going to see Taggart probably get the start at right, and then Sarabell is going to rotate into both, depending on how things go. So, we didn't really talk about that as a matchup part of the D-line conversation.
I just, getting the – we got to be able to run the ball is when we need to, just to help set up, for that, the passing game. I think I'm just worried about offensive line showing up and being able to handle the pressure and that kind of stuff from them. They didn't get any sacks last game, and there's a whole revamped offensive line now. Can Tegro Shabola hold up his end of the bargain as far as being a average to above average run blocker, pass blocker?
Yeah, he's been so inconsistent, man. I mean, that's why they're doing this rotation.
Right,
I mean,
and that's it. And I'm not, I put a microscope under Jeremiah or Buka. I think those guys are going to get theirs. I think the back's going to run hard. I mean, we can always go to Will Howard. Hey, well, you got to make sure he doesn't turn the ball over. Well, that's just a given against Oregon. Will Howard not turning the ball over is a given. So I just say the offensive line is going to be key. Doing, microscope on some of our tackles, to take away their edge rushing, that too. But I'll
right.
go Cibola just to pick one out of the line.
Okay. All right, Shawn, what do you got on offense?
We give some West Coast love to my boy Emeka.
All right. Big game mech.
Yep, big game. I think he's going to hit your number over 6. He'll be the safety valve, getting first downs, making shit happen. Big game. He's a West Coast kid. Love him here.
Tears in his eyes.
Yep. About to win
The
the
B, the
Masters.
Masters.
All right. I like it. Yeah.
Trip.
Every big game, a Mecca is the target, number one. He's like your the Will Howard go-to guy, and they focus on getting him in situations where he can make plays and do something with it after the catch. So that's fair. Offense, I've been thinking about this one, and JJ's probably your easy pick, but I do think they're going to double him on many occasions after watching what Tennessee tried to do in single coverage. It didn't go well, even with their best corner. Then I was thinking tight ends. It's tight ends over the middle of the field. G. Scott's been coming on lately, right? He had a big game against Tennessee.
And West Coast boy himself. Geese Scott was going
Right.
to get my honorable mention.
Right. Both Northwest corridor types. But I think JJ's the guy. He's got to be the choice because they're gonna isolate him by scheming him open, like they did against Tennessee. Remember, they would bring him across behind the line of scrimmage, in motion. He would swing out, go just get a few yards of depth, and look for that swing pass out there, and go get a first down, or who knows, you break a tackle and go 60. You never know. So I'm going JJ. Him and Emeka are going to be the keys to moving this ball, making big plays, and punching it into the end zone. So, that's kind of a layup too, I guess. All right, Jeff, what do you have on defense?
Defense, Denzel Burke.
All right.
Denzel Burke, 100%.
He's
Denzel
probably
Burke.
going to get tested early, right?
I would imagine, and IGB for that reason, for that too. But Denzel Burke has redemption on his mind.
Yeah.
I mean, this game knocked him down a draft round.
Yep.
That last game, make this game and get you back up. You know what I mean? Like he took a serious L in that game, and that along with the team L. So
You think
Denzel.
he can regain that stock that he lost by showing out huge in this game?
Sure he can.
Okay.
Sure he can.
I agree. I mean, this is where he lost it. I mean, he was considered, a top 3 corner going into the draft. I don't know what he's considered now. I don't follow Mel Kiper, but
I got it.
I got to feel he dropped down to, probably top 10.
I got it right
7-ish.
here. Let's see. Oof. I'm still scrolling. 147 overall.
So, I mean, that's
ranking.
4th. I mean, you dropped more than 1 round.
Yeah, that's like 3 rounds.
I mean, they were talking about him being like a top 20 pick.
Right.
Not the first corner off the board, but, 3rd, 4th.
Yeah. They got this is PFF's big board for 2025. They just rank the players. They don't go according to teams, NFL teams, and need and all that stupid shit like Kuiper might. But they got Josh Simmons going off at they got him ranked 13th, Emeka 14th, Shawn, 27th. That's surprising. Tyleek, 30. Jack, 43. Trey, 45. That's surprising, too. JT, 46. Ransom, 74. Donovan Jackson, 87. Will Howard, 95. That's quite a jump up from when he left K-State. Burke, 147. McLaughlin, 165. IGB, 202. And Jordan Hancock, 229. I like to think Hancock's a little better than seventh
I think
round.
they're underrating all our guys in the secondary right there, frankly.
Fuck
Yep.
yeah. Especially Hancock and IGB. And Burke, for that matter.
Well,
Yeah, Ransom's probably. Ransom. What was he? 70-something. That's pretty solid for a safety.
yeah. I mean, with end of the second round, just the beginning of the third round. I mean, yeah, for safety, unless you're Caleb Downs, I mean, that's going to be a good spot
Caleb's
for you.
Different.
You might be the second or third safety off the board at the second round of the second pick of the third round. You might be the third safety. So,
Stephen Cherry says Buckeyes 40-27 over the Ducks. Move on to meet Arizona State.
how about that? How about if we saw the Sun Devils waiting for us in the Cotton Bowl? Holy shit!
I wish I could say I'm surprised. Thank you, Stephen Cherry. I appreciate he appreciates the hat. Everybody hates the kicker. We know. Okay. Sorry, I interrupted. Shawn, to you, your defensive microscope, please.
I'm gonna keep it with the West Coast. I'm pretty sure he is. JT.
Yeah.
Sure. Same region.
Yeah, up there in Seattle area or
And then
Yeah.
Redwoods.
Walla Walla, Washington, something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Waka. Yeah, just like that. That's weird that we got three guys at such a high recruiting rankings from that area all around the same time. You have JT along with they're all in the same class too. G and Buka.
Yeah.
JT, they're all in the same class up there. What the hell are those teams doing up there? Like, are we gonna let all these guys slip?
Yeah,
I
that's
think
probably when
Abuka
they were
was a
going
year behind them.
No. Ibuka.
2021.
No, Coop came in with Wilson.
Coop. No.
Wilson.
Yeah.
I'm talking Ibuka, G Scott, JT, all from the same class.
I thought Gee Scott was with Wilson now.
No.
Gee Scott's like a fifth-year senior.
Yep.
Abuka
Fourth.
ain't a fifth-year senior.
No. Hold on. G Scott was rated a higher receiver than Marv. We had Marv, Ibuka, and G Scott all in the same class.
Nope, you had.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes, we did.
I ain't fighting with you about it now.
Class of 2020, Jeff, you're wrong. G. Scott.
What? Horseshit. What? No way.
Yeah. Yes.
Really?
G. Scott. Yes. And I know Emeka, Jack, JT were all 2021s.
Jesus
eat
Christ.
shit. Big bag of shit.
Doubting my Gee Scott knowledge.
All right.
Bro.
So anyway, Shawn.
I'm done.
Miss me with that
Shawn
shit.
is-
I'm done. All right, I'm done.
Yep.
So I got JT. You need to go off. A lot of pressure. Get on that. What's his face's thing, and let's get a turnover. Let this be part of the a JT pressure and a bad throw and a Denzel Burke, pick six.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I like that.
Called synergy. That's what we call synergy.
Coverage and
Complementary
rush
football.
working together.
Defensive synergy. Yeah. Your guy makes my guy look good. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going freaking Cody. I think Cody is going to provide the pressure at the same time, he's going to provide the pressure on Dylan Gabriel, keep him in the pocket, keep it from doing damage downfield, and he's going to help shut down that run with Jacob, whatever his name, James, Jerky James, and Whittington, whatever. So Cody Simon is key, quarterback of the defense, as he has been the entire season. He has to play out of his mind and do multiple jobs here for this defense to be successful. Other guys are going to come up and make plays. Obviously, Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles, the corners have to show up. But I think Cody in the middle, being closest to the ball, is going to be essential. Bringing him on blitzes to get pressured on Gabriel. And, of course, he's got to shut down that run. They've got to stop James. So I'm going Cody Simon with my defensive microscope. I'm going to continue popping up some of the comments here as we run through them on the chat. Anything else you guys want to touch on with this game? Anything you're looking for we didn't discuss? Our offensive line, again, we touched on it in its 20th iteration. I don't know, man. I'm very concerned about this O-line. Very concerned. But Tennessee's D-line was supposed to be good, too. I never saw James Pierce in the backfield.
No, a lot of that it's a lot related. Getting out to a quick start, they were down 21-0 before anybody really knew what was going on. Definitely everybody on their team. So, getting down, but getting that big of a lead that early, that changes defensive philosophies and strategies and offensive for a team that's down 21-0. Everything goes out the window. Now you're scrambling. Right. Now you're trying to figure stuff out. So, it's that, but it takes getting that 3 touchdown lead, in the first quarter, for that to kind of happen. We jump on Oregon, something like that. Yeah, their whole offensive and defensive scheme might be changing because obviously what they were doing on defense wasn't working, and offensively, if they're talking about ball control and everything else, now we got to change to that quick passing game and move the sticks. So,
right.
How long we keep them in the game or choose to not, how much do we gamble to try to get a big jump on them? Do we come out firing? Do we try to go over the top early on them, score quick? Do we take the ball and kick off? A lot of that's just aggressiveness. Some of it's, strategy. And is that part of your game plan? Do you want to just get a big lead and then have a game plan for after that's achieved? It's kind of short-sighted to think about, but yeah, I think we can attack Oregon a lot of different ways.
Right. Yeah, I'm really curious how they want to cover these Oregon receivers, because I feel very confident that our front six, the D-line and linebackers, can stop this run. What did we keep them at? Under 158 rushing in the first game. I think we can do the same, and that's a win, in my opinion.
What was that, about 10? Was that about 15 yards more than us?
Yeah, 158 to
140.
I don't think that's. I don't love that.
We actually got 163
under 120. You need to keep them under 120.
All right. Well, they got 2 solid running backs, Shawn. I mean,
still.
Okay, that's even bigger a win. I think keeping them under 200 rushing is a win, and if you want to keep them down around $1.25, I'm fine with that too. So, yeah, I agree.
All right.
Yeah, I saw the troll in the chat. He's not getting any play on the screen.
Oh yeah.
Stephen Cherry calling Caleb Downs with a touchdown via kickoff return. Oh. Funny, because he hasn't been on kickoffs yet.
No, that's big booga that you see out there, number 2.
Let's see it.
Hey, I don't mind it though. I mean, pull your big guns out. You know what I mean? The dude, you see the dude's electric with the ball.
Right.
And some people just are that way. No matter what position they play, if they're like that with the ball, man, they can make shit happen. Put them out there. The fuck. There's very very few kickoffs that are actually getting run anyways. So it's not like these guys have been taking a lot of pounding.
Right.
Getting back there, if there's that one missed kick or whatever that's going to lead you to a good opportunity at a return, I would like to have him back there with the possibility of catching the ball. Not to say Emeka isn't good, but we have seen Caleb do what he does. We saw that punt return was a game changing, electric as fuck Heisman Trophy winner, moment. So it wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt to come back there just to see what the kicker does, see how they react to maybe having him back there. Too bad you can't put both twos back there at the same time.
Change jerseys out. They've done that before, haven't they?
Yeah, it's when he took the line drive in the Oregon game right off his fucking leg.
Oh,
Downstead
yeah.
wearing 48.
Yep.
What the fuck?
Yep. That's right.
That's fine, Steven. I love Steven's bold predictions. Respect. He's nice. Yeah. All right. Well, I got nothing else. We've spoken our minds. We've spoken our piece. You guys have spoken your piece. I got a 10-point win. Maybe more. Maybe 14, maybe 17. I feel like this defense is not going to allow another 32 points to Oregon. I don't see it. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe they will completely toast Denzel Burke again. I don't see it working.
I really don't see it either, but I worry about offense being. I worry about offense showing up and playing and showing us what they were capable of last week. Can they do it again?
Those DBs are a problem for Oregon, man. They are not a good matchup for them. It's a great matchup for us. Those DBs, corners, safeties, all being 5'10", that's not good, Bob. And their linebackers are not great in coverage either. So that's why I talked about doing the little swing passes, screen passes to the running backs. Flare them out there. Get those big fat bastards up front, going sideline to sideline. Then eventually you pop them over the top to JJ, Emeka, run the crossing routes, all that shit.
Stay in the middle of the field too. The first time all season I saw was attack the middle of the field. With our studs deep. We never go down the hashes of any type of depth. We started to see it against Tennessee, and it looked like Tennessee wasn't expecting us. Tennessee didn't look like they were expecting us to do it either. We looked at them off guard. G. Scott caught them passes across
safeties, and they left the seam wide ass open for G. Scott for 30. So, yeah, if they're going to run split safeties and try and bracket the outside receivers, go ahead. The middle of the field is going to be wide open. We got plenty of dudes that can catch the ball over the middle of the field. And that Betcher the Butcher, whatever his name is, the white dude, he's bad in coverage. He's bad in coverage. And Boss is okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I like to see a lot of number 11 on the field.
Weapons, man, these guys have not played a team with this many weapons, and you saw what we did in their place with the help of referees and the help of their crowd. Came down to a 1-point game.
Yeah, we have to be better. We're gonna have to be better on offense.
I feel real fucking good.
We're gonna have to be better on offense. And obviously defense, but Quinn's trying getting the ball taken away from him inside our own 5, was it?
Oh yeah. That was in the red zone. Our own red
zone.
There's injured hand.
There's just mistakes, man. Mistakes that just cannot let happen. So if we make mistakes like that, our defense can play a great game. I love the Michigan game. Defense played great. You put them out there. You constantly putting them out there every 3 minutes. Everybody's going to give up something. Can't help it. So the offense has got to hold their end of the bargain. And if Oregon makes it a shootout and they just hit us over the top, and we're just going to start chucking the ball, well then let's fucking chuck the ball with them. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
we can beat you on a shootout too if you want. If that's what we're going to do. But I don't know. I just the offense they got to put these games together back to back to really give people just blind confidence that this is what I'm expecting, but this is what I really think is going to happen.
Right. All right. Well, can't wait for this one. Man, it's going to be a good one. So, yeah, Odysseus says, hope it's 60-40 Buckeye fans in Pasadena. That'd be nice. I think it's going to be very close to 50-50. Or 60-40 Buckeyes. I love it. Great score prediction, Odysseus. That sounds like a Stephen Cherry prediction. But no. So appreciate everybody joining us. We will be back next Sunday, win or lose. Hopefully, we are getting you ready for another game. And
talking Cotton Bowl.
Yeah. Let's see. I think they're spacing these things out like 10 days apart. So the next game would be the weekend after next, I believe. So anyway, we'll keep you updated on that. And so, yeah, join us next Sunday, 7:30 Eastern. And hopefully we're talking about a Buckeye victory. And we're on to Texas or whoever. I don't care.
We're on to Dallas regardless. We're going to the Cotton Bowl's next.
Right. All right.
So,
Jeff and Shawn, appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Talk to you guys later. Go Bucks and Happy New Year.